How's everybody doing tonight? I want to talk to you about several things. First is we're going to adopt a new model, people. And there's a lot of nations that have just gone accustomed to having a president and a prime minister. And I'm just going to be honest with you. God doesn't appoint presidents and prime ministers. God appoints kingship. And so what we're going to do is go to a new system that is referred to as national collectivism. And it's very fundamentally simple, people. We're going to keep a democratic system where we keep a prime minister or president, just depends on what nation you're at. And then we're going to go to a kingship. The kingship is what handles your policy, your direction as a nation. They're the hand that kind of moves and says, this is where we're going to go. And your president sits over all of your states or all of your subsequent territory, and they kind of hands on the ground more. Now with that, ultimately, people, the goal here is we're one people. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of people out there say, oh, it's a Luciferian system. Oh, say he's an Antichrist. Shut up. Shut up. I'm about uplifting people. Okay? I'm trying to free you from fucking bondage, people. I am far from the Antichrist. What we're going to do, first and foremost, we're going to absorb all the islands in the Gulf of David. We're just going to, it's done declared. That's the Gulf of David. That was where David settled after he was done slaying giants. He settled in the damn islands. That's the home of David. We're going to call it the Gulf of David. Now with that, in your Bible, it talks about it in Isaiah. Might be Isaiah 42. I might be off on that though. But it also talks about it in Revelation that a mighty prophet will rise up, appointed by God, and that he'll set over the isles. Well, the isles are the islands, people. And so with that, there's been a lot of talk about absorption of Greenland and places like this. I want to talk about some things first. We already have the United States has already got a pact, an agreement. It's relatively new. It was just reworked, but involving Canada and Mexico. Now, the House of David understands nationality and culture is unique to every nation. We don't want to, we don't want to intrude on people's culture. I mean, that's something, it's our identity. It's something to be an American. It's part of your identity. To be a Mexican, part of your identity. We don't want to infringe on that. So we're going to keep the borders and the nations in that regard, but we're going to change some things, people. We're going to change kind of how things are done and how things are linked together. And the first thing, we're going to get Mexico and Canada on the same page with the United States. We're going to get the Gulf of David on the same page with the United States. Nobody's going to resist this, really, people. It's not, the agreements are already pretty much there. Things are already moving into place. Now with that, we're going to open up under national collectivism. The whole thought process is to use the natural resources that are under everybody, and that's what we procure dividend checks from, people, to uplift everybody simultaneously. And so what we're going to do, there's a lot of nations, there's some nations that just weren't blessed with impact sites. A lot of the rare earth minerals come from impact sites, people. And some of the nations were not blessed with, for instance, petroleum. And what comes to mind, and specifically, is the United Kingdom. Now, there is some gold and some silver. A lot of people don't know this, but Scotland was once attached to North America, people. And it was specifically attached to where Appalachia is. And so Appalachia is loaded with goddamn gold and silver, people. So you have gold and silver. It's not super deep, but the whole problem with Scotland is it's just not a massive country. You can't put a massive mining operation in a little country without creating all kinds of problems within the population. So we're going to leave that the hell alone, people. There's no reason to even go there. There's nothing really of value in Ireland. There's minimal trace amounts of everything everywhere, people, but it's not worth mining Ireland, and it's not worth mining the UK. The UK does, however, have natural gas, but they have no impact sites. None of those places have any impact sites. Do they, Nibirians? No. The Nibirians are out telling me no, there's no impact sites there. So the reality is it makes it difficult for them to uplift their people with natural resources. And so the logical step is to say, well, they're our brothers and sisters here in America. The United Kingdom's our goddamn brothers and sisters. My family came through England, and they came through Ireland. And so these are our brothers and sisters, people. And so it just makes sense. We're going to get it worked out, and we're going to absorb the United Kingdom. Now, with that, I want to go over to a lot of people. There was resistance on the Greenland deal, and a lot of people don't know what the backing and what the hang-up was on that. It's very simple. It wasn't that Greenland is not willing to be absorbed by the United States. The hang-up was that Denmark wanted to come with Greenland. Denmark, I believe it is who owns, people are saying yes, Denmark is who has the invested interest and militarily is protected or been tied to Greenland. And so that was the hang-up, people. That was it. We can accommodate that. We can make that happen. And the same, Iceland's under its own flag. Iceland is another one. The reason I list these two, for one, they're massive islands. That's what they are. And but Greenland and Iceland each have 4 major impact sites. They're mineral rich, people, and they're not densely populated areas. Again, we're trying not to displace people here, but we've got to have these minerals to even further ourselves as a civilization. You have to have rare earth minerals, people. And so it makes sense to go into these places, absorb them, and then go and treat it as a collective where we're all receiving dividend checks, because then you're able to simultaneously lift up a massive amount of people. Now, with that, I want to say the objective here would be by 2040, on the nations that I name, adopt your national collectivism. And I've had a lot of them. I called a lot of leaders forward, and they're like, yeah, we'll get behind that. We'll get behind that. And so the objective would be to then go from your United Kingdom to absorb what would be Europe, your Eastern Europe, to absorb Western Europe, which is Russia, and then to also absorb China by 2040. And what we're just going to call it, just the House of David. All of these areas, again, Russia's a massive territory. China's a massive territory. And they both of these spots have spots that have been placed under curse at various times, and they're inhospitable to people, but all of them have impact sites. Many of them, the reason people don't live there is because they were hit by impacts. And so it makes sense to absorb all these places, and we just treat it as a massive collective. And then I want the other nations to understand it's not that we're focused right now on what we can easily align with and what can be absorbed, but we're going to move on. Now, this is all subject to change, but eventually we want everybody rocking under one house, essentially. That just makes sense, and it makes things a lot easier, people, as far as to work with people, because you end up having family lines that cross and different things. And that's part of the blueprint of the House of David, what we've always done. There's no love like a father's love for his daughters and his grandchildren. You want to get into a country and get in their good graces, you marry a daughter and you give them grandchildren, and they'll love you forever. And so the models work forever. We're not going to change the goddamn model. What works, works. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, I walked as King Solomon, I walked as David, the soul transfer, and we have the Masons and the Morning Stars, and there's some people that have bad images, and anyhow, but there's some people in there that are good people, and there's some people that are willing to try to make some changes. And there's a series called Shark Tank, and this kind of is a stem off of Shark Tank, Mark Cuban. And so what we want to do is a series on ABC called Solomon's Blessings. And what the target is we want to have Bill Gates, we want to have Elon Musk, we want to have Jeff Bezos, we want to have Mark Cuban, We want to have Dr. Dre. We want to have 50 Cent. We want to have Eminem. We want to have Kanye West. We want to have Paris Hilton. We want to have Kat Von D. And we want to have Taylor Swift. All of these people are they're all descendants of King Solomon. Literally, the morning stars are, these are the sons and daughters, essentially, of King Solomon people. And so what we want to do, though, is the target here is we want to go to people that traditionally have a difficult time they have great ideas, but for whatever reason, they just struggle with a business model, they struggle with getting a loan, all of these things, whether it be people from socioeconomically challenged areas, or it be women, young people. And we're going to have a program where you can come on and pitch your idea, and you'll get the blessings of King Solomon. I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's a great idea. And it gives a lot of people to whom much is given, much is expected. And many of these people have been blessed. They've been blessed because they carry the blood of King Solomon. And so it's only right that they take their blessings and they bless others. And I think America would get behind it. I think everybody would be like, this is a really cool show. And so Solomon's blessings. ABC, it needs to come to fruition. 2028, the fall of 2028, we need Solomon's blessings. So with that, peace and blessings be upon your homes.